for entertainment purposes only. And if you want true legal advice, contact your own lawyer.
Now it's time to play Case or No Case.
Well, I am so glad that you asked that question, Mr. Kunitz. So glad. I'm going to take you now to what used to be one of the hottest resort towns in the United States of America, Branson, Missouri. Still a popular tourist attraction? Well, not like it once was, and perhaps our story on Case or No Case is why. There are two airports servicing tiny Branson, Missouri. Branson Airport has a regular Southwest Airlines service, or it did, and the smaller Taney County Airport with a runway barely half the length of that of Branson. Somehow, though, Captain and First Officer of a Southwest Flight 4013 from Chicago mixed up the airports, they're only 7 miles apart, and landed on the wrong one. Nobody was physically injured, but at least one career was ended, and things could have been much worse. The passengers had to wait for 2 hours before being allowed off the plane because they had no way to get them down off the plane without popping the emergency chutes, and Southwest wasn't going to do that because that's a very expensive thing. And the mood is somber, wrote one passenger, when we realized we were 40 feet from the edge of a cliff.
Oh, my.
Right? It was bad. The cabin was filled with smoke from the brakes, from the pilot jamming on those brakes. Troy Haynes, lived in the area and had flown into the Branson Airport many times. He said, I knew they were landing on the wrong one well before they even figured it out. I tried to tell somebody. They wouldn't listen to me. Then he said he was immediately struck with fear and anxiety over crashing. And he suffered severe mental anguish, fear and anxiety, including a panic attack, which caused him to be removed from another airline prior to takeoff. And that, in turn, led him to stop flying. And that, in turn, led him to seek legal counsel. And so I ask you,
Oh, no.
Case.
I'm glad you're going first.
Or no case.
I skate on this one. Hey, I forgot. I didn't get the name of the victim.
I will tell you. Let me. Troy Haynes. Haines, like the underwear. Troy Haynes. Okay?
Well, Troy Haynes seeking to harvest the fruit of the loom of the litigatory tree. Well,
which he had to change after the.
I heard he soiled them.
Yeah.
Yes. Well, it would be interesting if the first initials of the plaintiff and defendant were B for plaintiff and D for defendant, because then it would be BVD,
exactly.
Which is another underwear-related pun.
Yes, which
Denise is looking at me like, huh? What? Okay, so...
It's your BVDs. Right, got it. Okay. Yeah.
Oh, so does he have a claim for basically these torts, which is what they're called? I did not realize till I was in law school that tort law, personal injury, carries with it the same root. The word tort is the same as the root of the word torture. I never knew that before I got to law school.
Somehow seems appropriate.
It does.
If you've ever been sued, you know why it would be called
yes.
that.
So is he entitled to... Does he have a claim for damages here because the airplane landed on the wrong runway in the wrong airport? I would have to assume that the pilots at some point in time noticed the lack of, I don't know, jets and the prevalence of Cessnas at the smaller airport.
Sure. Once they heard the wheels go, the pilot goes, oh, Bob.
Yeah.
We better stop short.
Yeah.
Well, since when do they let these crop dusters take off in commercial airports? I don't know. But
you're just delaying here a little bit too long.
I'm stalling. I'm getting the expand, hoping that some kernel of wisdom comes into my mind, because right now it's toys in the attic. Okay, I'm gonna say that this is a case. All right. And strategically, I'm just going to say it's a case because I think statistically, the likelihood that Cal would go back-to-back on no cases is more remote than not. I'm not going to say...
I have done it many a time.
I'm not going to say it has never happened. I'm playing the odds here.
Okay.
All right? So, yeah, I'm going to say it's a case. And I am going to say that there is some sort of... No. Plaintiff loses. No, well, wait a second. Some sort of settlement on the part of the airline. If it were a more run-of-the-mill scenario, I would say the airline would have an incentive not to settle because they would not want to invite more lawsuits for commonly occurring things. But landing your plane on the wrong runway and having these issues is not something that's common, so the likelihood of potential lawsuits with this fact pattern are low. So they reach some sort of out-of-court settlement to.
I was fascinated by it because I think it would be the same as a tort lawyer saying, my client almost got in a crash with a Toyota, so I'm going to sue Toyota. That's what fascinated me about this idea. Anyway, when I was writing the story.
Who did he? When you were writing the story?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I always take everything and rewrite it. So.
Who did he sue?
Southwest.
Okay, so he sued Southwest. So I just want to make sure that he wasn't suing the airplane manufacturer. He was suing the company that was operating the aircraft.
The driver of the plane.
Yes.
So to speak.
All right. So I'm going to say case and it settles.
Denise, what say you?
I say that the career that ended was the pilot's career.
That's correct.
That he's done. I would say that the 2 hours wait to get off the plane could be sued for because that's, in essence, false imprisonment. They just kept him in.
Especially breathing brake smoke.
The brake smoke and all of that. So there's a physical damages that he would have from that. And then certainly it could be intentional infliction of emotional distress as well because they landed at the wrong airport and he knew it. And it's foreseeable that somebody's going to be on that plane that's going to know the airport, been to the airport before and know they're not landing at the correct airport. So we could have sued for that as well. So I think physical damage, I think the mental anguish, I think the false imprisonment, I think all of those are really good suits. And this is a famous case called Haynes versus Southwest.
Yes.
And we all know about this case.
Well, okay, so you're saying it's a case.
I'm saying that you made it up.
You're saying it's no case?
I'm saying it's no case. It could be a really good case, but I'm saying it's no case.
What?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, call in if you agree with me. 855-LAW-RADIO or tweet us at Radio Law Talk.
Good job. Good one.
Denise alleging that Cal is violating the thou shalt not bear false witness commandment. And I have said that Cal has given us something truthful based on statistics, the statistical probability, and that the plaintiff recovers, that the guy on the plane recovers. So, Cal, if you want, for those of us just joining, why don't you get it set up again for us and then tell us what our results are.
Sure. Remember the famous flight where a Southwest Airlines crew landed at the wrong airport when trying to come into Branson, Missouri. Branson had an airport big enough to handle the plane. The airport in which they landed did not have an airport big enough to handle the plane. It was, I don't even know the name of the city, but that's not very thorough of me.
I thought you said Branson, Missouri.
Yeah, Brett, but there was another airport 7 miles away, and that's the city I don't remember the name of. Anyway.
I thought it was tiny or something started with a T.
Yeah, something small. So anyway, the guy on the plane panicked. He said that this being on this airplane, having it jam on the brakes and smoky in the cabin and all that stuff, caused him some emotional distress, and he sued. Oh, wait a minute. I guess I just gave it away, didn't I? Those of you who say it is a case, Mr. Cunin. Now, Todd, I'm going to give you a bonus point.
Uh-oh.
There's an opportunity to get yet another point here. Now, you've already gotten one.
I've already gotten one.
You say that it was settled. We'll talk about that in a moment. And you have a chance to get yet a third point if you can get this correct.
Okay.
Oh, that's really fair.
Well, I mean, I have it built into the question. So, plaintiff requested damages in the amount of $74,999.99 and nothing more.
Yes.
The obvious question for the bonus point is why not just round it up a penny and ask for $75,000.
And I know the answer to this question.
Okay, but you've got to know the proper legal name. But go ahead. Yeah.
The reason that he did not allege 75,000 and alleged 74,999 was because he did not want this removed to federal court. And the $75,000 is the threshold. So he was trying to fight off removal to federal court, and that's why he alleged one penny or dollar or whatever it is below 75,000.
Yeah, because that's the amount at which someone can request removal. So
Yes.
this is a law school case, somebody told me, so I thought I'd have to use it because it has all these little elements in it. Distress, all these other little torts, as you call them, and this removal issue. Most often the defendant does this by showing the plaintiff and defendants are from different states. But in this case, it was the 75,000 versus 74,999.99. So suing exactly for that 1 penny less blocks the move. So what happened at the end of the case? To be perfectly candid, we do not know.
So we don't know if it's settled. We don't know if it.
Here's what we know. We know that Southwest apologized, refunded all the passengers' ticket prices, gave them travel credit as a gesture of goodwill. So even that, to me, is a minor settlement. Whether they did more with this guy or not, I don't know. So I'm going to give Todd 3 points on this particular case. Or no case. Sorry, Denise.
No, you know what that means, right?
It means Todd's ahead.
No, it means
No.
we're tied.
Tied. That's right. Okay.
Darn it.
I'm not looking at my numbers, but it means that the next case or no case is critical. And
Aren't we still trailing Fred by quite a bit, though?
Yeah,
No.
Fred's at 20. We're at 18.
yeah, you're
So
getting
no,
close.
we can
Yeah,
tie him.
We could tie him.
And by
Okay.
the way, this next one will either be double points or Jeopardy points.
Go to the website, radiolawtalk.com. That's radiolawtalk.com.